Good morning. So our topic for today is value-added tax. What's in value-added tax now? Value-added tax is one of the business taxes. Okay, so in business tax, we have three business taxes. Business taxes. We have first one, of course, is the value-added tax. Number two is the percentage tax, other percentage tax. And number three is the excise tax. So we will start discussing the value-added tax. So this is the first part, which is preliminary considerations. So when we say preliminary considerations, what are the things that you need to remember about VAT? No, ano bang meron dito? So we will discuss the concepts here, no, to establish your foundation moving forward in our discussion of the VAT. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng VAT? Ang VAT ay tinatawag na consumption tax. Why? Because practically, whatever you consume is subject to VAT. If you are the seller or the one that barters or exchanges goods or properties and services, or list of goods or properties and services, or the one that imports goods into the Philippines, okay, for consumption, kung yan ay food na hindi exempt from VAT, then it is subject to tax. And we call that tax as consumption tax, which is the VAT. Okay? So, hindi naman literal na consumption lang 'to. Let's say you eat in a restaurant, you have your drinks in a cafe or in any refreshment parlors for that matter. Meron bang VAT yan? Yes, as a rule because registration is VAT as a rule. Okay? So, pag may binili kang gamit, hindi naman kinakain yan, pero consumption in a sense because you're using them. Okay? Mga binili natin, damit, gadgets, whatever, tangible goods, these are being consumed, not literally, but in a way that we use them. Okay? Kaya consumption tax yan. Now, kaya siya tinawag na value-added tax because it's something that you add to the cost of the goods. Okay? Kaya nga value-added tax yan. Hindi na nakaisip nito. Now, what's the nature and characteristics of the value-added tax now? Wag na wag niyong kakalimutan that the seller is the person statutorily liable to pay for the VAT. Pag sinabing statutorily, we're talking about the law itself. So, seller ang inutusan ng batas na magbabayad ng VAT. But since the VAT is an indirect tax, it can be shifted or passed on to the buyer in case of sale, or transferee in barter or exchange, or lessee in case of lease of the goods or properties or services. Yan ang ano niyan. Exception, so general rule seller ang liable. Exception, importer ang liable. Okay? Kapag hindi exempt yung things na ini-import natin. As to incidents, VAT is indirect tax. Okay? And remember, in income tax, general principles, no? Sabi natin, escapes from taxation, escapes. How do we escape the payment of the tax? Ito yung ating mnemonic, escape. Through evasion, shifting, capitalization, ano nga 'to, transformation, exemption, at saka, hindi ko na maalala. Basta, ano 'yan 'no, one of the mode of escaping tax, shifting. Now, what is the concept of the VAT? Let me, show you 'no. To make this easier, brothers and sisters, you imagine when the topic is about sale, you imagine you are the seller. Ganyan lang kasimple 'yan. Kapag sale ang pinag-uusapan o kaya output tax, imagine you are the seller. Tapos naman ang kapag ang pinag-uusapan ay purchase or input tax, you imagine you are the buyer. Ganyan lang kasimple 'yan. In practice, there is what we call third party information matching, okay? Third party information matching. Okay? Isa ito sa paraan ng BIR para mahuli ang mga nandadaya. Let's look at it from the perspective of both the seller and the buyer. Kapag ikaw yung seller of goods or services, nakabenta ka, ang tawag sa benta mo, gross sales. Okay, halimbawa nakabenta tayo ng 1 million. If the seller is the person statutorily liable to pay the VAT, but can shift the burden or pass on to the buyer the VAT, syempre kung ikaw yung seller, sinong gusto mo magbayad ng VAT? Eh di yung buyer. Kaya ang gagawin mo, magdadagdag ka ng output tax. Output tax na 12% doon sa benta mo. Kasi pag hindi mo dinagdag, ang output tax sa benta mo, sa sale mo, ikaw ang magbabayad niyan. Kaya kapag ikaw ay nakabenta, isisingil mo yung buo sa buyer, including the VAT. Because effectively, you have shifted the VAT to the buyer. Pag hindi mo yan nilagay yan dyan, ikaw magbabayad yan. So, kapag ang amount ay kasama yung VAT, inclusive yan, 1,120,000. Ang tawag dyan, invoice amount. Now, let's go back to third-party information matching. If somebody made a sale, there is somebody who made the purchase. So kapag gross sales yung kabila, gross purchase naman to. So meron siyang purchase. Kung nagbenta ng 1,000,000 yung kabila, ang binili ng buyer, 1,000,000 din. Kung shineft ni seller, yung VAT, seller output tax, ito yung VAT on the sale. Shineft niya, dinagdag niya. Kay buyer naman, ang tawag doon sa VAT na shineft is input tax. So, ang total na babayaran ni buyer is 1,120,000. So, ito yung tinatawag nating matching, kaya mahirap pandaya. Si seller is to report kung sino yung bumili. Si buyer, i-report niya kung sino yung kanyang pinagbentahan. Kung kanino yung source ng input tax. Ganyan ang concept, kaya mahirap mandaya. Now, how do we report the VAT, no? So let's say the buyer, kaya siya bumili kasi para maging seller. May negosyo din siya. So effectively, ibebenta niya yung kanyang pinamili, let's say plus 50%, no? So ibebenta niya yan ng 1.5 million. So if you are the seller, who do you want to pay the VAT? Remember, you are the person statutory liable. Who do you want to pay the VAT? Aba, if you can shift it to the buyer, you shift it to the buyer. Kaya, kapag binenta niya yan, magdadagdag siya ng output tax. Okay, 180,000. So, on total nito, na isisingil niya kay buyer niya, 1,680,000. So, just like the seller here, tignan nyo, shineft yung burden. Kapag shineft ang burden, effectively, parang ang buyer talaga nagbayad yan. Now, kapag ikaw yung seller, how do you report the VAT? Meron kang output tax. Halimbawa, 180,000. Ito yan. Meron kang output tax. Binabawas natin yung input tax na binayaran mo. So, itong input tax mo, ibabawas mo yan dyan. 120,000. So, effectively, ang VAT payable mo lang is 60,000. Parang ganyan ang concept ng VAT. Mga kapatid, kapag VAT, sinishift ito sa buyer. So ultimately, it is the consumer who bears the burden. Tayo. Lalong-lalo na kung wala kang negosyo. Lalong-lalo na kung hindi ka naman VAT registered taxpayer. My goodness. Wala kang paggagamitan ng VAT. No? Kaya medyo nakakatamad talaga. No? Ang maging taxpayer lang. But anyway, this is VAT. Okay, anong meron dito? Now, who are the persons liable to the VAT? Sabi natin kanina, di ba? Seller is the person statutory liable as a rule. Because in case of importation, importer ang liable, natural. So, ang sabi sa rules natin, including existing revenue regulations, no? Any person who, in the course of trade or business, so sa madaling salita, kahit itong tao na to, engage siya. Anong ginagawa niya? He sells, he barters, he exchanges, or leases. So, therefore, lessor yan. Ano yung nililist niya? Or sinesell niya, or binabarter niya, goods or properties. Or, nagre-render siya ng service, or any person who imports goods. So, paulit-ulit to. Okay, yung apat na yan. So, to summarize, if you are a seller of goods, then you are the one liable. If you are a seller of service, you are the one liable. If you are a lessor, you are the one liable. But, you can shift the burden of the payment of the VAT to the buyer. Yan ang concept ng indirect tax pwede mong i-shift. Now, in case of importer, kailan natin binabayaran ng VAT? Before release of goods at the customs custody. Pero sa 1, 2, and 3, the basis of the VAT is accrual. So parang sa income to, no? Once you recognize the sale, you're supposed to pay the VAT already, the output tax. I-advance mo yan kung sakasakali. At ang bagong-bago, no? Actually, hindi na bago to. Yung VAT on Digital Services Law. Ang mga digital services provider, whether resident or non-resident, are subject to the VAT. Itong withholding of VAT sa non-resident applicable to. Non-resident digital service provider. Okay? Now, ano pang ibig sabihin ng accrual, accrual, accrual? Okay, sige, i-drawing nating mabuti. By the way, kasi dati, kapag seller of goods ka, service ka, EOPT tayo. EOPT, accrual na. Prior to EOPT, the basis of the VAT for seller of service lessor is based on collections, which means they only pay the VAT once they make the collection. Kung walang collection o kaya 2 years, 3 years ang collection, edi doon mo lang bayaran yung VAT. Ganyan ang concept ng VAT. Now, let me give you a simple illustration on how accrual works. Kasi sabi ng batas accrual pero hindi laging accrual yan. Okay, let's suppose, halimbawa, ito yung seller. Okay, meron siyang gross sales, 1 million. Ilagay lang natin, basta 1 million yan. Merong output tax, 120,000. So, 1,120,000 ang total niyan. What do we call this? Invoice amount. Bakit? Kasama yung VAT Now, imagine you are the seller. Okay, so what do you sell? Let's just say goods or service ang binebenta mo. Okay? So, goods or service yung binebenta mo. Ngayon, ikaw yung seller, ako yung buyer. Role-playing tayo dito to make it easier. Binenta mo ang goods sa akin, 1,120,000. Shift mo yung burden ng payment of the VAT sa akin. Kaya nagdagdag ka ng output tax. So, 1,120,000 ang total amount. So, ngayon, ako nagbayad ng 1,120,000 sa iyo. 1,120,000 sa iyo. So, ibig sabihin, cash kung binayaran yan. Ang tanong, i-report mo ba sa income tax return mo yan? The answer is yes. Bakit? Meron ka ng sale Okay? Now, tanong, i-report mo na ba rin ba sa VAT return mo yan? Yes, bayad ka na Sir, akala ko ba accrual? Sabi ko nga sa iyo, kahit accrual ang sinasabi ng batas, hindi laging totoo yan. Kasi kapag bayad ka na, you have to report the sale. Now, what if you made the sale on account? Therefore, accrual yan. Nagbenta ka sa akin ng 1 million, dinagdagan mo ng 12% VAT. Total mong isisingil sa akin, 1,120,000. Tanong, are you required to report the sale in your income tax return? The answer is yes. Sir, bakit? Accrual nga You earned the income already. So, therefore, i-report mo na yan. How about sa VAT return? Kakasabi lang natin, accrual. So, therefore, you are also required to report the sale in your VAT returns and pay the tax. The output tax, you are required to pay the VAT. Sir, hindi pa po ko bayad. Okay lang. Bakit? Kasi meron ka namang receivable. Yan nga yung basis ng accrual mo, debit, receivable, credit, sales Di ba? Kasama yung VAT doon sa receivable mo, sir. Therefore, i-report mo na rin. Bayaran mo in advance yung VAT. Walang problema. Bakit? Babayaran ka naman kasi kita. Okay, how about sa service? Sa service, mga kapatid, parehas lang. Whether cash or accrual, since parehas na tayo ngayon, same lang din yan. I-report mo sa ITR tsaka sa VAT kapag cash ang bayad sa'yo upon performance of the service, i-report mo na din sa income tax return mo at saka sa VAT return mo yung sale of service on account kahit hindi ka pabayad kasi meron ka namang receivable. Okay? Same na po ngayon ang basis ng taxation. Okay? So, remember that. Now, punta naman tayo dito. Are all taxpayers engaged in trade or business required to register? The simple answer to the question is yes. Dalawang registration natin. General rule, VAT. Ayun, in general, VAT registration. Exception, pwedeng non-VAT. Ayun. Ayan siya. Exception. Ang non-VAT dalawa. Either subject sa percentage tax, ito yung 3%, at saka yung other percentage tax. Kaya siya other kasi iba siya sa PT. Ngayon sa VAT, mga kapatid, merong dalawang uri ng registration. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na mandatory. Meaning, whether you like it or not, you're supposed to register as VAT. And the other one is optional. Okay, tanong. Sino muna yung required mag-register? Kahit sinong tao, basta may negosyo. Anong ginagawa? Nagbebenta, nagbabarter, nagsisugod sa properties, or nagsisale ng service are required to register the VAT tax type kung saan ang kanilang head office na under na BIR. Okay, now, let's go to the VAT. Meron dalawang taxpayer dito ha, isang mandatory, isang optional. Ang mandatory, sino ang mandatory required mag-register? Kung sino yung taxpayer na merong gross sales na lumampas ng 3 million, pero hindi kasama ang VAT exempt sale, excluded ang VAT exempt sales. So, kapag ang gross sales mo ay 3 million, lumampas na, plus, mandatory ka na VAT. Meaning, whether you like it or not, you are supposed to register VAT. Again, excluded dito ang VAT exempt sale. Tatandaan mo yan ha. Okay, example, meron tayong tindahan. Nagbebenta tayo ng gulay, manok, baboy, agricultural products, mga prutas, 10 million ang sale. Meron tayong tindang mga noodles, sardinas, 1 million ang sales. Total sales 11 million. Are we mandatorily required to register? No, hindi kasama ang VAT exempt sales sa 3 million threshold. Okay? Now, who is the other one required to register as VAT na mandatory? Aba, there are reasonable grounds to believe na yung gross sales daw ay lalampas sa 3 million. Pero again, hindi kasama yung mga VAT exempt sales. Okay, ang tawag ko dito mga kapatid? So, yung gross sales nito, 3 million plus. Pero, feeling lang. Kaya nga ang tawag ko sa kanya, feelingero. Feeling lang niya, there are reasonable grounds to believe na lalampas siya. Kung ganyang merong reasonable grounds to believe that your gross sales will exceed the VAT threshold, then you are mandatorily required to register as VAT. Now, let me give you an example. Today, let's say, is March. Tapos, ang sales na natin is 2.9 million starting January 1. 2.9 na tayo ngayon. Now, is there reasonable grounds to believe or ground to believe that our sales will exceed the VAT threshold na 3 million? If the answer is yes, mandatory na tayo. Ngayon, kapag tayo ay mandatory na registration, pwede tayong bumaba sa non-VAT percentage tax 3% anytime. Bakit? Kasi dalawa yung registration VAT at saka non-VAT, yung percentage tax. Halimbawa, no, hindi ka lampas sa 3 million. Ito, ang gross sales nito, 3 million less than 3 million yan ha. Less than 3 million ang sales niyan. So ito, 3% siya. So, ibig sabihin, kung ang gross sales nito, 1 million lang, ang babayaran tax niyan, 3%. 30,000. Ganyan lang kasimple yan. Ganyan lang kasimple, mga kapatid, ang percentage tax. Okay? So, ganyan lang kasimple. Pwede tayong bumaba. Pag mandatory ang registration natin, we can always revert to percentage tax non-VAT na registration. Okay? So, ganyan yan. Now, balikan natin to. So, pag mandatory, pwedeng bumaba sa non-VAT. Percentage tax 3%. Meaning, you can change your registration. Now, sino naman tong isa? Yung optional. Ang optional registrant, mga kapatid, hindi naman siya lampas ng 3 million ang kanyang sales. Hindi naman siya required to register as VAT. Pero gusto niya. Kaya nga optional. Ang tawag ko dito, tigas ulo. Bakit? Kakasabi pa lang, hindi naman siya required So, ngayon, kung hindi siya required pero gusto niya, pagbigyan natin. Pero kapag itong tao na to ay nag-elect to register as VAT, optional, hindi siya pwedeng bumaba sa non-VAT, irrevocable ang kanyang registration for the next 3 years. He is not allowed to cancel. Hindi siya pwedeng bumaba sa non-VAT. Diba kanina yung mandatory, sabi ko pwedeng bumaba sa non-VAT percentage tax. Pero kapag optional ka, hindi ka pwedeng bumalik sa non-VAT or bumaba sa non-VAT na percentage tax. Bakit? Matigas ang ulo mo eh. So merong 3 years, lock-in period yan. Okay, kaya aaralin niyo mabuti yung rule on registration because this is very important. Okay? So, I hope we are clear on the VAT. Now, ang non-VAT naman, yung percentage tax muna tayo. Ito yung gross sales na hindi lalampas ng 3 million. Okay? Halimbawa, ang sales nito 1 million. Siya yung hindi matigas ang ulo. Hindi siya nag-VAT. Kaya yung sales niya 3% lang. Eh itong matigas ang ulo, ang gross sales niya 1 million. Eh gusto niyang mag-VAT. Ganon. Eh de times 12% ka, VAT ka eh. Ganyan ang pagkakaiba ng matigas ang ulo at saka hindi matigas ang ulo. Okay, why would people want to be if you are the consumer, anong gusto mo, VAT or non-VAT? Kasi pag VAT ang seller, mag-i-impose yan ng 12% VAT kasi ayaw niya magbayad ng buwis kasi pwede naman pala niyang i-ship sa'yo ng legal eh. Diba? So parang ganyan po yung rule on registration natin. Ano naman tong OPT? Ang other percentage tax ito ay mga tinatawag nating specialized industry. Ano ito? Common carrier ka, mga jeep ka, bus, at tricycle. Okay? Sila ay hindi pwedeng mag-VAT. Kaya nga, pagsasakay ka ng bus, walang VAT eh. 'Di ba? Kasi other percentage tax yan. Hindi rin sila pwede rito kasi itong 3 million na to, siya yung hindi matigas ang ulo na vatable sana yung transaction pero hindi naman lumalampas ng 3 million. Kaya percentage tax siya. Yung other percentage tax, iba doon sa PT na 3%. So example yan, common carrier, yung mga amusement places. Kung ikaw ay bangko, other percentage tax ka. Kung ikaw ay subject sa stock transaction tax, other percentage tax ka. Kung ikaw ay insurance company, premium tax ka. So, yan ang mga different kinds of other percentage taxes. Okay, hindi pwedeng mag-VAT ang mga yan. Kasi isipin mo, kung bus yan, pwede pala mag-VAT yan. Eh, baka nag-VAT na yung mga yan. You see? Kaya magkaiba ang dalawa ang non-VAT. Isang percentage at saka isang other percentage tax. Okay? Huwag niyong paghahaluan ha, yung mga teacher kasi na iba, tsaka mga review centers. Diyos ko po, pag sinabing non-VAT, they're referring only to percentage tax of 3%. Mali! Dalawa yan. At saka yung percentage tax, huwag mong ihahalo sa other percentage tax. Kaya nga siya other kasi bukod dyan sa PT. Okay? Medyo gigil lang tayo ng konti ha. Now, kapag ang franchise grantee, pag sinabing franchise legislative franchise ito, ito yung binibigyan ng prangkisa ng Kongreso. Okay, example niyan, Radio TV, 'di ba? GMA7. Yung ABS-CBN, oh, 'di ba? Wala siyang si ABS-CBN kaya they cannot operate because they don't have any franchise. Now, kapag radio and TV, 10 million ng threshold. Kapag lumampas ng 10 million, vatable 'yan. Okay, kailan magbabat yan? Within 30 days from the end of the taxable year. So, ibig sabihin, kung yan ay calendar year, hanggang January 30 lang. Okay? Ngayon, kapag ang radio TV naman ay nag-optional registrant, halimbawa, hindi naman siya lampas ng 10 million, pero matigas ang ulo, gustong mag-VAT, edi pwede, pero manigas ka, matigas ang ulo mo eh. Hanggang buhay ang prangkisa mo, you cannot change your registration from VAT to non-VAT. Yung non-VAT neto, franchise tax ang tawag. Okay? Now, let's look at the illustrations, no? Just to give you an idea on how registration works. Let's look at the facts. Si ABC, ang capital nito 1 million. There is no expectation that its sales will exceed the VAT threshold. Hindi naman pala lalampas eh. Ang 3 million eh. Regardless, it's still registered in 2026 as VAT. Tigas ulo to. Optional ang registration. Tandaan mo, ang optional, bawal bumaba ng 3 years, irrevocable yan. So ngayon, ano nangyari? Statement. If in 2026, hindi naman pa siya sa VAT threshold, pwede ba siyang bumaba sa non-VAT sa susunod na taon? Bawal! 2026 bawal, 2027 bawal, 2028 bawal, 2029 pa lang pwede. So, hindi pwede. Matigas ang ulo ka, false yan. Okay, number 2. Ang capital ni ABC Corp, 5 million. It is expected that its sales will exceed the VAT threshold. Hence, it registered in 2026 as VAT. Ay, very good. So, mandatory ang registration. Kapag mandatory, pwedeng bumaba. Anytime, no? Basta wag lalampas ng 3 million ang sales. So, ang tanong or statement, whether or not the ABC Corp's gross sales will exceed the VAT threshold during 2026. Na feeling niya ay mabibreach niya ang 3 million threshold, pwede ba siya bumaba sa non-VAT? May it update its registration to non-VAT in the following year in 2027 basta hindi lalampas ng 3 million na kayong gross sales. Pwede. Hindi naman pala lalampas eh, pero pag lumampas hindi pwede. Bakit? VAT pa rin siya. Okay, so the answer is true in number 2. Now, let's go to number 3. The capital of this company is 1 million. It has no expectation that its sales will exceed the VAT threshold, but still, it registered in the year in 2024 as VAT. Hala, optional ang registration. In 2024, its sales is below threshold. In 2024 pala yan, no? In 2025, the gross sales naging 5 million. Ay, ano ngayon? In 2026, pwede ba siyang mag-register as a man ng VAT? Aba, hindi pwede. 2024, 2025, 2026, hindi pwede. 2027 pa lang. Kaya the answer here is false. Number 4, the capital of this company is 1 million only. It has no expectation na yung sales niya lalampas sa VAT threshold. Hence, it registered in 2024 as non-VAT. Aba, very good. In 2025, lumampas ng 3 million. Mandatory. Thus, it updated its registration to VAT. Aba, mandatory. Very good siya. So ngayon, in 2026, pwede ba siyang bumaba sa non-VAT kung hindi naman lalampas ng 3 million ang kanyang sales? Aba, definitely. Ang sabi natin, so long as the registration is mandatory, you can always revert to non-VAT percentage tax 3%. Allowed yan. Number 5. Si ABC Corp is required to register as VAT. Why? Because it exceeded the VAT threshold. However, it failed to do so. Ang statement, tanong, liable ba siya magbayad ng output tax kahit na non-VAT ang registration niya? At hindi ba siya pwede mag-claim ng input tax kung sakasakali? The answer is true. Kaya just imagine, yung halimbawa, yung sales kanina, no, 1 million dapat, times 12% dapat, 120 dapat ang VAT niyan. Eh hindi siya non-VAT to ha, non-VAT percentage tax. Hindi siya nag-vatable na siya. Okay, 4 million. O di ngayon, kung 4 million to, yung 3 million lang exempt yan. So yung 1 million lang ang vatable. Okay, yan ang vatables, yung excess lang. So, ngayon, tanong, since nag-exceed na siya sa VAT threshold, okay, mandatory na yung registration niya. Eh, hindi siya nag-VAT. So, kahit non-VAT pa rin ang registration niya, the taxpayer is liable to pay the output tax and then there is no benefit of input. Penalty mo yan. Okay, kaya pag ganito, magre-register talaga tayo. Now, number 6, ang sabi natin ha, kapag radio TV, merong legislative franchise to, walang irrevocable ang registration nito kapag optional VAT. Look at the problem. ABC Network, non-VAT registered siya. Has been granted, ibig sabihin, hindi siya lampas ng 10 million. Okay? Has been granted a legislative franchise to operate and broadcast radio television in 2023. Nung first year of operations, ang kanyang receipts is 5 million. In 2025, nag-register siya as VAT. However, its gross receipts for the year amounted to 8 million. Hindi naman pala lalampas ng 10 million. Adi ang tawag dito, optional registration. Kung optional registration, pwede ba siya bumaba sa non-VAT in 2026? Aba, hindi. Irrevocable na yan. Until the life of the franchise. Another illustration. Ang company na to, non-VAT siya. Okay? Ngayon, nag-register siya in 2020. In 2022, nag-register as VAT. Okay, tingnan natin ang kanyang receipts or sales. In 6 million lang, 7 million lang, 8 million lang, 9 million, never siyang nag-breach ng 10 million. Ang tanong, pwede ba siyang bumaba sa non-VAT? Ang sagot, hindi. Kapag non-VAT ito, 3% franchise tax sila. Franchise tax, they are subject to 3% franchise tax. Ibang taxation. Okay, hindi percentage tax ha, franchise tax. Now, let's look at this another example, no? Assume that the taxpayer's initial registration is VAT, meaning when it registered with the BIR, non-VAT siya. Pag sinabing non-VAT, percentage tax tayo para maliwanag lang, na 3%. So 2024, percentage tax siya upon registration. Pero ang sales niya, 4 million. Pwede ba siyang mag-VAT? Aba, oo. Mandatory yan eh. Mandatory yung registration niya, lampas siya. So sa 2025, 2 million lang. Pwede ba siya bumaba sa non-VAT? Kapag mandatory, pwedeng bumaba. So ang registration na nito, non-VAT. 2026, lampas siya sa 3 million. Pwede ba siya mag-shift? Actually, oo. Dapat siyang mag-shift kasi lampas siya eh. Oh. O di ngayon, ayun, 500, lampas siya eh. So ngayon, ang registration nito, VAT. O 2027, pwede bang bumaba sa non-VAT? Yes, basta hindi lalampas ng 3 million. Pag lumampas, hindi pwede. Another registration. Initial registration is non-VAT. 2024, 2 million lang siya. Pwede ba siyang mag-shift to VAT? The answer is yes. Ang tawag dyan, optional VAT registration. So, 2025, 1 million lang. Pwede ba siyang mag-shift? Ang sagot, hindi. I-revoke. Ano yan? 3 years yan. Magdusa ka, tigas ulo ka eh. 2026, 1.5 lang. Di pa rin lampas. Pwede ba siyang bumaba sa non-VAT? Hindi pa din. Bakit? Kasi nga 3 years nga. So, 2027, pwede na. Yes. Okay. Ngayon, eto naman, ang registration nito, mandatory. Okay, VAT. Ang kanyang sales sa 2024, 4 million. O, pwede ba siya bumaba sa non-VAT? 4 million yan. Hindi. Bakit? VAT registration pa rin. Lampas siya sa 3 million eh. O, the following year, pwede ba siyang non-VAT? Kasi nga, mag-shift sa non-VAT, percentage tax. Kasi hindi naman lampas, pwede. Basta mandatory. Ayun o, ayun ang assumption natin o. So ngayon, non-VAT na siya. 2026, ang sales niya 3.5, lampas ng 3 million, pwede ba siya mag-shift? Oo, dapat siyang mag-shift, lampas siya sa 3 million, VAT ang registration ito. Next year, kung hindi bumaba ng 3 million, pwede mag-non-VAT? Yes. Kung more than 3 million, hindi pwede. Ito naman tayo. Another example, mandatory registration is VAT 2024. 2 million lang ang sales, pwede ba siyang mag-non-VAT? Aba, hindi naman pala lumampas, yes. O di non-VAT siya ngayon. 2025, 1 million lang. Pwede ba siyang mag-VAT? Oo, pero tigas ulo yan, optional yan. Hindi pwede bumaba ng 3 years. 2026, 1.5 lang. Pwede ba siyang bumaba? No. VAT pa rin yan. Okay, bawal 2025, bawal 2026, bawal 2027, 2028 pa lang siya pwede. So, yan ang mga rules on registration. Okay, so where do we register, brothers and sisters? Aba, we register in the RDO, which has jurisdiction over our head office, kung saan yung office natin. Okay, dati may bayad na 500 pesos, ngayon wala na yan. Okay, tatandaan nyo ha. Now, yung mga branches are also required to be registered on the RDO, which has jurisdiction over the branches. Halimbawa, our head office is in Manila. No? And then we open the branch in Makati. We're supposed to register also the branch in Makati. And if our head office is in Manila, ito yung first 9 digit is our taxpayer identification number. Ito yung head office na code. Kapag 00 yan, head office yan. So, if we open a branch in Makati, same tin yan. Same tin. Tapos, yung 001 is the branch number. So, Makati, being the first branch is 001. Sir, paano pag nag-open tayo sa Quezon City? 0002 yan. Sir, paano pag Caloocan? 0004. Kaya tignan nyo yung mga tin, mga kapatid. Trivia lang to. You can look at the invoices pag bumili kayo para ma-determine niyo kung ano ba ang branch number niyan kung sakasakali. So, pag nakita mo 000, head office yan. Pag nakita mo merong number dyan, branch number yan. Okay, again, the registration fee is removed. Okay, now this is the form to use when you register with the BIR. If you are an individual, you use Form 1901, non-individual, Form 1903. Okay, so what happens if we fail to register when required? So when we say, if a person becomes mandatorily liable to VAT, bakit siya naging mandatory? Tatandaan mo, yung gross sales nito lumampas sa 3 million. Alam pa tayo sumulat doon. Basta yung gross sales niya lumampas sa 3 million or yung gross sales feeling lalampas sa 3 million. Reasonable grounds to believe. Okay, hindi siya nag-register. What will happen? Aba, he is liable to pay the output tax as if he was a VAT registered person. Tapos, there's no benefit of input tax but only for the period na hindi siya nag-register. Okay? Now, ano bang ibig sabihin ng in the course of trade or business? To make it simple, this is how you know if a person is engaged in trade or business. May negosyo ba siya? Okay, so what does it mean? Very simple. It means regular conduct. Lagi ba niyang ginagawa ito? Or pursuit of a commercial or economic activity, ginawa niya to para kumita. And in the course of trade or business includes incidental transactions. Example, We are an educational institution. So we provide educational service. Meron tayong mga computers, meron tayong mga chairs and tables na papalitan na. Ibebenta natin yan. Pwede ba tayo magbenta? The answer is yes. So any sale can be construed as we are engaged in trade or business. Yan ang ibig sabihin. Kahit sino ka pa daw, by any person, kahit sino ka pa, whether or not you are a non-stock, non-profit organization. Okay, or even if you are a government, you can be considered as in the course of trade or business so long as you fall under the definition. Okay? Tingnan mo ito. Tignan mo ito. Non-residents who perform services in the Philippines are deemed to be making sales in the course of trade or business even if the performance is not regular. This is what I have been discussing in income tax. Okay, if an alien is not a resident and he practices profession here, regardless of how many days, he is considered as engaged in trade or business by this very definition. Yung ibang professor, ang sabi nila, itong in the course of trade or business daw, ay nasa VAT regulation lang siya. So therefore, it cannot be used under income tax. Mali. Pwede. Bakit? To make it operative. Diba? Yung non-resident alien, mga RC and RCRA, nasaan ba yan? Nasa income tax yan eh. Ba't ginagamit natin dito sa VAT? Kasi pwede nga. Kaya itong mga to para sa akin, NRA engaged talaga yan because they practice their profession. They are in the course of trade or business. So, ayan ha, subject sa batang mga yan. Now, ito yung bago, VAT on Digital Services Law. Ano ba nangyari rito? Yung mga digital services rendered in the Philippines, yung mga resident provider are being subjected to VAT already because they are seller of service. Ngayon, yung mga non-resident digital service provider na walang physical presence in the Philippines, sinama na sila na subject sa VAT. Bakit? Sinabi ng batas, the digital services shall be considered performed or rendered in the Philippines basta all of these services are consumed in the Philippines. So example, you subscribe to Netflix, you subscribe to Prime Video, you subscribe to Gmail, to LinkedIn, to Facebook, o nagsasubscribe ka, nagbayad ka, meron kang badge ngayon. So, anong meron ngayon? So, since kinokonsume mo yung mga digital service dito, ede, subject na sa VAT yan. Okay, bakit? Because the law provided for their inclusion as being subjected to VAT. Ayan considered performed in the Philippines yan. Yan ang sabi ng batas. Batas ang nagsabi niyan kasi balikan natin yung income tax natin. Sa income tax, for us to determine the source or situs of taxation, we look at where the services are rendered. If the services is rendered within, the source of the income is derived from within. If the services are rendered from without, the source of the income is derived from without. Now, papaano kung non-resident digital service providers nirender ng service sa ibang bansa? Kasi nandun sila. Wala silang opisina rito. So, saan nirender ng service? Without. For income tax purposes. Pero, kapag kinonsume natin ang digital service nila, considered rendered within the Philippines yan, kaya taxable yan, subject yan sa 12% VAT under the VAT on Digital Services Law. Okay, let's go to illustrations just for you to have a complete picture. So halimbawa isang domestic company na to, in-invite ang Girls Avenue, mga non-resident alien to, no? Nag-concert dito, binayaran ng 10 milyon. Tanong, is the Girls Avenue considered in the course of trade or business? Kitang-kita mo yung definition. Even if the performance is not regular, in the course sila. So, yes. Is the professional fee subject to VAT? Of course. Pero ang tanong, bakit? Very simple. Ang sagot kasi, lampas kasi ng 3 million ang kanilang gross sales. Okay, now let's go to another illustration. ABC Corp is engaged in software development to gain an advantage in terms of technological know-how. Yung company in-engage yung non-resident foreign corporation, NRFC yan, to train employees who are professional software developers. So ABC Corp paid 10 million pesos. Binayaran sa XYZ. Is XYZ in the course of trade or business? Yes. Is the service fee subject to VAT? Yes. Pero anong klaseng VAT 'to? Ang tawag dito mga kapatid, final VAT. Okay, iba yung final VAT, mamaya pag-usapan ulit natin yan. Now, what can be the object of sale? Ano ba yung pwedeng ibenta? Ang sabi natin mula kanina, goods and properties at saka services. Yan ang mga pwedeng ibenta. But what does goods and properties mean? Tignan natin. It refers to all tangible and intangible objects. So when we say tangible, it can be computer, laptop, it can be whatever that you can touch. And also intangible objects, which means in accounting, if we have like, ayan, mga patent, copyright, design, etc., can we sell this? The answer is yes. So once you sell these are goods and properties which can be subjected to VAT. Okay? Basta ang kailangan lang, these are capable of pecuniary estimation. Okay, so letter A, ano yung pwedeng goods and properties na ibenta? Aba, ang tawag natin dito, ordinary asset. Yung mga lupa na for sale, yan are for lease. When you sell this, subject sa VAT yan, as a rule. Ito naman, letter B, C and D. Pag-isahin natin, right or the privilege, right or the privilege, right or the privilege. Okay, example, Nike. So, merong logo yung Nike. Okay? And ABC Corp wanted to use the logo. So, anong ginawa? Si ABC Corp nagbayad ng 10 million. Si Nike, binigyan siya ng right to use the logo. Ngayon, itong si XYZ wanted to have the right. Pwede bang ibenta yung right to use ni ABC kay XYZ? Yes. Bakit? Goods and properties yan within the meaning of goods and properties. Another example, letter C. Okay? So halimbawa, mga kapatid, alam nyo ba na sa Germany, non-resident foreign corp, okay, ang nagmamay-ari ng pinakamalaking boring machine sa buong mundo. So halimbawa, ABC Corp basically ay isang kontraktor at kailangang butasin yung bundok. So ang ginawa niya, nagbayad siya doon ng 10 million, si NRFC, binigyan siya ng right to use the machine. So ngayon, binutas yung tunnel. Nagkaroon tayo ng ano ngayon, tunnel. Ngayon si XYZ, isang contractor din, kailangan din niyang butasin yung isang bundok. Ngayon, yung right to use ba nito ni ABC, pwede ba niyang ibenta kay XYZ? The answer is yes. Bakit? Goods and properties yan within the meaning of goods and properties. Right? Or the privilege to use motion picture films. Yung mga K-drama sa Korea, pinapalabas halimbawa sa isang channel, basta channel, halimbawa channel 2 na lang yan. Okay. So nagbayad si Channel 2 ng 10 million doon. Si company, Korean company, binigyan ng right to use si Channel 2. Ngayon, gusto ni Channel 7. Okay, Channel 7. Pwede bang ibenta ni Channel 2 yung kanyang right to use? Aba, the answer is yes. Bakit? Goods and properties yan within the meaning of goods and properties. Letter E, yung television time, yung radio time, di ba merong sa TV may palabas, tapos may commercial. Sa radyo, may palabas, may kanta, may commercial. Okay, baka may magtaka sa inyo, anong palabas sa radyo? Di yung drama-drama. Hindi! Wag mo akong iwan! Mahal kita! Hindi! Alas na ako dito! Diba, parang gano'n yan. So, may palabas tapos or kanta. And then there's commercial. So, the airtime there is goods and properties that can be sold by this company. Okay, kita mo yan ha? Ayan ang ibig sabihin niyan. Now, let's go to services naman. Earlier, I shared with you, binalikan natin yung history sa income tax. How do you determine the source, the situs of taxation kapag services? We look at where the services are performed or rendered. Kapag rendered within, the source is derived from within, taxable sa income tax yan. If the services are rendered without, the source is derived from without. Taxable lang yan sa RC, DC, estates, and trusts. Now, ano naman dito sa VAT? Kapag nag-render ng service, para ma-subject sa VAT yan, it has to be performed within the Philippines. At saka dapat may bayad. Natural, kasi we're talking about gross sales. Okay, whether the payment is in kind or in cash. Now, itong lahat na nakikita nyo, Basta construction company, service contractors, broker yan, lessor yan, warehousing yan, cinematographic film yan, taga-milling yan, processing, manufacturing, nagre-repack ng goods, may-ari namang hotel, motels, lahat ng mga to, the restaurant yan, refreshment parlor, yung cafe, eating places, mga clubs, dealer na securities lending, mga transportation contractor, yung mga common carrier by air, PAL, yung mga barko na tumatawid sa dagat natin, domestic yung mga yan. Ito by land, jeep, bus, etc. Okay? Ito mga sa electricity, ito electric utility, telephone, telegraph, lahat, mga insurance company, lahat yan ay mga services. Okay? Ito yung bagong-bago under the VAT on Digital Services Law, no? Kapag ang isang digital service provider ay nag-provide ng digital service, yan ay a form of service that is now subject to 12% VAT. Okay? So that's the first part of our discussion. Okay? Basic.